Jeff Coventry again, coach at Immaculata, reporting for another OHSF All-Decade team member. A great linebacker from the list. We'll let him introduce himself. Take it away.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? Basambombo, linebacker from Franco Cité High School from the year 2012 to 2016.
All right, thank you for that great introduction. And Franco Cité, known as that francophone powerhouse. But before we get into your time at Franco Cité, we'd love for Ottawa High School football members to get to know you from your grassroots level all the way through. So let's talk about that time, growing up. Well, who were your influences, how you got into football, and on your way to high school football, who are the people that shaped you and the friends that helped you out along the way?
Yeah, so to be honest with you guys, I did not really know much about football because I was born actually back in Congo. So that's in Africa. Basically came here when I was 9. So I kind of found out about football here. Used to be a big soccer player back then. So I still had the athletic abilities, you can say. But I started knowing football through friends. I remember one of my neighbor, Joshua, kind of showed me football. I think I started with the Mustang, Canterbury Mustang. That was my first root experience. When I started, I had a couple of friends that played with me there. I remember Chevy, Isaac, a lot of guys like that helped me kind of get into football even more. And I played 2 years before getting in high school. I played for Mustang in my beginning. I actually played with a couple of guys like Nelson Gallimore as well, Julian Moore, a couple of guys like that I remember playing with. And after that, I get into high school. And when I get into high school, I was lucky because Franco Cité actually has a football program set up there. So it's like a student and playing football. It was kind of dope because I was able to as much stay focused in school and get to play my sport. So that was really interesting. So that's why I kind of
along those lines, were you always a linebacker, Dan, or did you play multiple positions growing up? They had you everywhere.
Yeah, I always kind of played defense. That's the spot that's where I played the most. I played some D-end. I played some linebacker. Played D-end for a long time and played linebacker as well. But I gotta say, it's kind of really close, right? It's in the box. So that was pretty fun for me. And also I had experiences as a running back too, like in Franco Cité for a couple of jamborees. But I gotta say, I'm a defensive guy. I always like to kind of lay people out there, so I kind of find it more fun to play defense.
Absolutely.
So yeah, mostly a defensive kid.
Yeah, so that's great, and that's a great segue. Understanding that Franco Cité does have that sport étudiant athlète system that really helps you guys grow as players. And maybe you can talk a little bit about your time at Franco Cité for the francophones, and myself being a francophone as well. It's a big thing having a French program here in the city of Ottawa.
Yeah, so for real, it's a really good program because it helps you to stay as much focused in the classroom and on the field. And it's kind of nice because the same coaches that kind of coach you on the field, you see them in the classroom too. So I feel like they play a bigger role because they can really see you on a personal level and see you in the outside world when you play your sport and in a classroom. And that kind of they kind of have more into you, It's kind of different from a teacher that you just see just a regular teacher, but you see a teacher and that teacher can also be your coach. So you kind of see him in a deeper level, I would say. So I really had great experience. I had Coach Denis that was a big part of my journey. So even university level, Paul Denis that was really around. I had also Serge Boisvert that was our head coach, and a couple of coaches out there that really helped me to this level. And so now I'm really thankful. And so now to this day, I talk to them in and there. And so now also Franco Cité is a big part of my life too, because I still talk to the coaches there. I still talk to the teachers there too. And I'm probably going to do a lot of community service over there too. So I'm looking forward to help out the community out there.
Absolutely, and that's a great segue into that next section, talking about your time at Franco Cité. You were a very dominant defensive player there. Yes, you played some running back, but we all know you like to lay the wood, and I would love to talk to you for you to talk more about your time in Ottawa high school football. What are some great memories you had, some teammates, throughout those varsity seasons? What was going on at a place where the home of the Faucons were at a premium. You guys had a great years and great teammates throughout that time.
Yeah, I played with a couple good guys, man. Like I played with guys that are still my best friends today, like Chris Ambrosio, Cedric Akuji, JP. I played with like Alain as well, Daniel, like a lot of different guys that I played with at Franco Cité, and those are guys that are today my brothers, and I'm really thankful of that, because as a being a football team, you guys become a family, and it was really dope growing up with those type of guys that kind of build the man I am today. And personally, me, I had a good experience at Franco Cité. I think that's where, like, getting to train every day, getting to play football every day kind of got me into a better position to be able to perform better and to really showcase my talent as well, to go to the next level. So having those coaches and those teachers that would just stay on top of that really helped me. And I was lucky, man. I got to say I was blessed with having this great talent that I have. And with I would say, like, I always had a raw talent, and with having coaches who kind of teach me the skills, I kind of became a better football player. But I was just a raw talent from the start, like everybody else. I was not. It was not easy like that. But I could run. I could run. I could hit, something that I did pretty easily. But hey, like, I had to learn how to tackle properly. Putting your head up, your eyes up, and those stuff, like those steps side to side, those like not losing steps and all that. Those are little stuff that the higher you get, the more you have to put like emphasizing that, because that's what separates like everybody, right? Because when you get to a certain level, everybody can run, everybody's strong, so you kind of have to like play with details. Details get really critical in those higher level, and that's something that I've seen from my journey till now.
That's beautiful. And then you also mentioned, guys like JP and Alain, and, a couple of names like that might have even appear on this list. These are no, slouch names. Some of these guys went on to play university football, are playing university football, and possibly will go professional eventually. So that just goes to show, like, the program at Franco Cité is no joke. Yeah. It's so talk to me about some of those years. Like, do you have any memories of the records or some of the plays that you guys had, or anything that that comes to mind in terms of that?
It kind of been a long time, but I still remember like just the family vibe. That's the one thing I can really talk to you about. I can't really talk to you about like certain like plays that we did, because I don't remember as much. But I mean, we always had a lot of talent, a lot of kids that just showed up there with raw talent, and we just made each other better because we're really competitive even during practice. And it was always fun to that point. And I remember like Franco always been dominant. We did not win much championships in the previous years, but when I came, I remember we transferred to the RSEQ, conferences, and we did play some games, and we dominate too. And that's how I kind of figured out like we probably had a really good team, and we're really good. But we had a really good team, but we never really got to the point to win championship. But we're always so short as well. Yeah. But to be honest, it's a good program, right? It's a good program, and like any program, like we have to build every year. I wish I win more. I won more like championship, but the younger generation took care of that. I think they've been doing good as well.
Absolutely, yeah.
And that's a beautiful thing, that to look back and seeing like the program is in good hands, and that's what matters. And at the end of the day, like, we're setting the path for the next generation, and we're setting for everybody to like believe in that program first of all, and then when you get to that program, to make your time the best. Like when you get there, it's your time. Like write your own story. Like everybody, there's people that came before me and people are gonna come after me, but it's all about like when it's your time to write your own story.
Yeah.
So that's what focus.
Yeah, Franco is one of those programs that always is perennially a powerhouse. Unfortunately, they don't have that championship pedigree, but they're always in the Tier 1 finals. They're always trying to get to OFSA. So it's no joke if you go there. You're in for a competitive vibe, and the guys are always practicing. Even just this past year in 2019, they were semifinalists. So it goes to show that the championship pedigree is there. They're just waiting to take that next step.
Exactly. It's coming, slowly building it.
Exactly. Yeah. So, I mean, of course, the program is in good hands, but of course, you yourself as someone who was at Franco Cité got to, reap the benefits of that stable program and got yourself recruited to the next level. and you were fortunate enough to end up at the Université de Laval, which is the top program in Canada, let's be honest. And and it's an amazing program, and Coach Glenn Constantin, I can't rave enough about him. He's a great coach. But talk to us about the process that got you to the Université de Laval, and your recruiting process and the things that factored into that.
Perfect. So basically, I remember at the end of 11th grade, all that process kind of started for me, like the recruiting process. Going into 12th grade, I kind of knew that I was about to play football at the next level, like university level. And to be honest, like the main thing is to really be open to every school. It's about not just going to the best school. Of course, I probably went to Laval, but Laval was probably the good fit for me, but it might not be for everyone necessarily. It's about just going to a program that fits you. It can be. Is that good? Can you hear me?
Mm-hmm.
It can be school-wise, it can be football-wise, it can be the coaching-wise, it can be family-wise. Like there's a lot of factor that comes into play, right? There's a lot of factor that comes into that. And me, I had to make the choice, like live home. And that was a big factor. Like, do I stay in the city? Because in the city, I had Ottawa U, I had Carleton, and those are, of course, I got recruited by them too as well. So for me, I really figured out like I wanted to go to the best place for me personally. I wanted to compete against the best player. And for me, I thought that being in the best school would put me in a better position to become the best player that I wanted to be. So by getting here, Laval, I got to compete with the best in a game, because I guess we're the best team in a country, and also having one of the top coaches, Glenn Constantin, and having like my DC Mark that kind of helped me become the player that I became today. And for me, like, I'm thankful of that, because it wasn't easy, and it's not easy being also like a powerhouse like that, because we gotta work harder, we got a name to keep up, we gotta win those championship, and we always have to be on top of our A game, because I guess every time a team plays us, for them it's the big finals, and also we always have to show up and give them what they expect to get, or even more. So it was a blessing. A blessing, but like with every blessing, there's good and there's bad. By saying bad, it means there's hard times. So you gotta work. You gotta sometimes do more than you're supposed to do, and that's okay, right? Because at the end of the day, everything balances itself. There's sunny days, there's rainy days, but at the end of the day, if you win, it feels a bit better.
Absolutely. And, of course, that's an amazing thing. Being at Laval is a unique situation, as you know, and as I unfortunately know on the visitors side when I played for Bishops. Can you describe a game day at Laval, what that's like and what the atmosphere is like for those people who've never been to Quebec City and seen a Rouge et Or football game?
Hey, it's amazing. It's amazing. I don't know if I would probably compare it to, that's like the closest to those high like score in NCAA. Like we can go up to like 19,000 people, fans, and I'm telling you, the way the field is made, that it's closed, it's kind of around us, so it gets really loud, and it's probably 19,000 people, but it sounds like there's probably like, I don't know, 30 to 50,000 people. And honestly, with me playing on defense, we get a noise, so it's also like it gives you chills. And it's amazing. You have to live it. You have to live it to know what it is. You really have to live it to know what it is. And I'm describing it like it's just like loud, but like it's different loud. It's like those loud where you get chills and you get like a bit more nervous, and like you have to make this place because it's probably like all these eyes on you and also the people watching you on TV, and it's amazing. It's amazing. You feel like.
Yeah, for sure. And I mean, we mentioned this because it's something for a Francophone student athlete to aspire to, even somebody in Ottawa. We've seen a couple go through. We've seen Tyrone, we've seen yourself, we've seen Dan Chiamala, even Alex Skinner, the quarterback for St. Peter's, who a decade ago. He was another one who was a Laval product, and just because you might be bilingue or whatever doesn't mean you can't go there. You can definitely flourish, and it shows you that Ottawa student athletes can be there. So that being said, of course, for you lucky enough. That time didn't end. There was a couple Dunsmores, a couple Vanier Cups, but it led to something a little more professional, right? And for those student athletes who are aspiring to go to the pros and the CFL and whatnot, what advice can you give guys, and talk about your pathway to that pro, that pro draft, and then the combine and all of these things?
Perfect. Personally, I got blessed, by getting drafted by the Redblacks. So first of all, I'm really thankful for that. And if I had to step back, sometimes, like when you get to university level, you start thinking like to the next level as well, right? Every level, you always think about the next level. And one thing that one of my men always told me, one of my good teammates, is Mathieu Betts, one of my good teammates that I play with here at Laval. He told me the only way to make a pro, the only way to really be the man that you want to be, is really to like make everyone around you better. If everybody wins, everybody looks good, and you're probably gonna look as good too. So the main thing is to not really be like selfish. That's one thing. A lot of people, when they get to a certain level, they start thinking about like their own stats. Hello?
Yep. Still here. Still here. Yeah. Yeah, we're good.
Okay, perfect. You want me to redo that?
Yeah, you're good. Go for it.
Okay, I'm gonna redo that answer.
Yeah.
Perfect. Yeah, so I'm really thankful because I got a chance to actually get in the Redblacks in this last draft in the CFL. And for me, to be honest with you guys, the tip that I would give the young kids is just to like be a team player. And I remember having this conversation with one of my teammates, Mathieu Betts, that's also playing in the CFL right now. He told me the best way to like be the best player that you can is by making everybody around you better. And by that is that like if all you guys progress, if all you guys compete, and if all you guys work together, like challenge yourself in the gym, on the field, you guys want to become better. And I feel like that's how like a lot of us, especially here at LAVAL, become better, because we always challenge each other to become better, not just better players, but better people in general. So that being said, like you gotta have that work ethic as well. You gotta want to work, and not just when you feel like it, but when you have to. It's not about today it's raining, so I want to stay at home. Raining or snowing or whatever it may be, you gotta go train, and you gotta do it every day. You gotta do it when you feel like it. You really gotta keep going even when you don't feel like it. And believe in yourself. Sometimes like we talk about like you have to be strong, physical, like you gotta be fast, all those physical assets, but the main thing is the mind. Your mind has to be in the right spot. If you know you're the best, sometimes you can do stuff that you shouldn't even be able to do physically talking, Like sometimes when your mind when you put your mind into something, you're gonna do it. And they say like whatever your mind put your body into is gonna do it. So the body only follows when the mind is already set. So always just think like that. Put your mind in the right place and everything else is gonna follow. And that's how I always went through this process.
I love that, and I think that's a great quote to end this talk on. I really appreciate those words, because it really rings true. Using that mind and that body combination. The further you go into a deeper level of competitive sport, they do love that saying, 90% mental, 10% physical, right? And it becomes that. Yeah, your physical skills are beautiful, and everybody loves the 40-inch vert and the 4.3 footy time. But at the end of the day, if you can't remember a playbook, if you can't do what they ask you to do when it comes time to, then you're probably not going to be lasting too long. I love that you see the combination and the importance of the combination. With that being said, thank you so much for this interview, and I really appreciate your time. And again, congratulations on making this OHSF All-Decade team. It really goes to show, just the mentality that you have, and the type of person that you are, that you're able to, portray that confidence on the field. And we clearly saw it during your high school days as well, laying the wood on some guys and with some teammates along the way. And what I really loved is your gratitude towards others and your coaches and your staff, and reflecting on that. So again, congratulations, and welcome to the team.
Thank you.
All the best, Dan. Thank you.
Thank you.